Hello and welcome to this week's edition of the Golden Gloves Chat Show. With me is one of my favorite guests, I must say, Phumlani Msibi. He's a presenter, commentator and a host on SuperSport. And remember, most of you will know Phumlani from football, but he's a boxing man as well. So we do a lot of the boxing commentating together. Phumlani, welcome.
Yeah, welcome. Thank you, Brian, for the welcome.
It's a pleasure. I saw you a few days ago in East London, and here we are at the Golden Gloves office. So thank you for being here. I want to talk to you about our next big show. You know, we value your opinion. It's called Lights Out at Empress Palace on the 17th of September. That's the next big one. And of course, the main fight is Kevin Lerena fighting for the IBO heavyweight intercontinental title against Mariusz Wach. But we're going to talk a lot about that just now. The bill, there's 5 fantastic fights. There's a guy called Bevan Sabanda. He's from Zimbabwe. He's a mini flyweight. He's 2-0 now. Terrific little fighter. So he's going to start the proceedings. And then I want to talk to you about this fight specifically as well. Our second bout of the evening on the 17th at Empress Palace. Ricardo Malajika fights Arnel Lubisi. Now, Arnel Lubisi, he beat early on in his career. Ricardo beat him. And Lubisi's done well since then. And it's a second fight. And in his 10 fights, he's only lost twice. He's Ricardo Malajika. He's lost to Siko Nkatoli and Sabela Ngubiyana, and 2 very good fighters.
It's a tough fight for Malajika. I'll tell you why. Oftentimes when a fighter comes from a fighting family, it helps him psychologically, but it helps him prepare as well. I'm talking about Lubisi now, you know. His brothers were solid just as fighters.
Yes.
So that whole thing will tell you he's prepared very well. He loves the rematch. Now, Malajika is grown in front of us. We've seen him make mistakes. We've seen him improve. Particularly when it comes to the movement. The legs were the problem. You know, all of a sudden, he's adjusted that. Yes. He's moving much better, using the perimeter of the ring more intelligently. But he's up against it. This is sometimes the thing that I look at Golden Gloves that they hardly ever go for soft touches. If it's me, I don't put him, Ricardo, there now with Lubisi thinking revenge, but that's where he's going to be tested. Thrown into the deep waters, see if he can swim.
Yeah, well, you know the thing about that division, Phumlani, is there is no soft touches. Because Ricardo Malajika is one of our guys, obviously fights out of our gym as well. If you look at the junior bantamweight division in this country, I mean, there's 10 guys that are really brilliant that Ricardo has to fight. He's gonna one day he's gonna fight guys like Siko and Nkatoli again. You know, there was a close fight.
Yes.
You and I did the fight at Sun City, and really, when you look through the records and you look through the ratings, who do you put Ricardo Malajika with? Every guy can fight. So it's a brilliant division.
It's a brilliant fight for him then, because like I said earlier on, the improvements and the adjustments that he has made, particularly, you know, in the use of the perimeter of the ring, he's always gone out to try and knock someone out, you know, but now boxes a little bit more intelligently.
Yeah, I think he's at Vusi and Tolo's done a good job with him. He made him settle down, like you said. Ricardo was a bit wild, off balance, talented fighter, good amateur pedigree. Hasn't hit the top notch yet as a professional.
Difficult fight to predict then. You know, that I know there is highlights on the evening on the 17th, but the undercard then with this fight tells you that you must find your seat, sit down and watch it with even more interest, because it's one of the intriguing fights on the bout card.
Fantastic. Well, it gets even better. That's Ricardo Malajika against Arnel Lubisi. And then Keaton Gomes has gone up to the heavyweight division. Maybe that's where he needs to be. He was quite big as a cruiserweight, was battling a bit to get down to 91 kilos. He moved back to heavyweights and he knocked out Sean Potgieter in his heavyweight debut. He looked the part, I must say. It's only his first heavyweight fight, but he looked the part, Keaton Gomes.
The problem now is, how do you prepare for it? Because all the work must be done in training. For Keaton Gomes, the problem now is going to be you're carrying the extra weight. It's a comfort weight. So you are cutting because you were trying to make cruiser. Now you're carrying your weight. It's your comfort weight. How well do you prepare in the weeks leading up to the fight to put in the work? Because many years, Roddy Bement gave us an opportunity to see it with Hasim Rahman, you know, to see it with Lennox Lewis, and see how heavyweights prepare. So there wasn't much running, but there was also lots of strength training. So for Keaton Gomes, the trick changes a little bit now, because you're carrying now that excess weight. You don't want it to slow you down, because you're comfortable now. You're not cutting anything. You're eating as you please. But the challenge is still there because there is a man in front of you who's still trying to chop your head off.
Yeah, absolutely. And Danny Ngokwe from the DRC, we've seen him fight 3 times. He's a good an opponent for him. So that's a big fight. Keaton Gomes in a 6th round against Danny Ngokwe from the DRC. Then the big local one that I've got to talk to you about. I can see you excited already because you know what's coming. Lusanda Komanisi against Tshifhiwa Munyai. You got the Mexican against the Spider. You got 2 guys that, I mean, and me as a former boxing champion, I love both of them. Komanisi, he can box, he can fight, he can punch. And then Munyai is so talented. Technically, he places his punches perfectly. What do you think about that fight?
We deserve it just to have the both of them in the ring. They are honest fighters. Nothing is going to be cut short if you look at the stables where they come from in terms of preparation. They've been like that throughout their careers. The fact that we get to see them in one ring against each other, because I never thought we'll see it.
No.
You know, I never thought it would happen.
It's actually the best domestic fight out there right now.
Yeah,
if you look at all the South African ratings, any division, that's the best fight, I think.
That's the fight to watch, to keep you on the edge of your seat, because you remember we've already had a media briefing, and you could now sense from the both camps, I don't know, because it's not the anger, but you could sense the tension. You know, the both camps want this fight.
They do.
Desperately.
Yes.
And now they get to be in the ring. It's intriguing. Largely for me, I always look at the trainers. I love the trainers. I love the camps. Both the trainers are going to bring on the night 2 extremely fit boxers, well-prepared boxers. So if someone loses, it won't be because of lack of preparation, but it's 2 immensely talented fighters in the ring.
Well, Vusi Matola's, you're talking trainers, is Lusanda Komanisi's trainer. And of course, Alan Terwell Jr. is Tshifhiwa Munyai's trainer. And 2 brilliant fighters. I mean, 32 fights for Komanisi, 22 wins by KO. This guy can crack. And then you look at Munyai. He's 37 years old, but he fights like a 27-year-old. I mean, he's 35 wins in his 42 fights. He is a terrific fighter. This should be a great fight.
Class is permanent. You mentioned his age, but he's always been a classy boxer.
Yes. Your pick on that fight, Pums?
I don't want to pick. It's the worst thing you can try and do from here, because like I said, if anyone were to lose, it won't be because of lack of preparation. I know as we speak, the both fighters are putting in the work. To predict, to pick a winner is the toughest thing that you can do, or you can attempt to do in this fight.
Yeah, good call. Yeah, it's a tough fight to call. I must tell you that I spoke to Komanisi. Well, I see Komanisi a lot because he trains out of our gym. But Komanisi said to me where they underestimating him is that he can box as well.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
we look at the knockouts.
I'm saying he's a fighter. He comes and he knocks you out. But he says he can box as well. And Munyai is a very good boxer. So really it's going to be who wants it most on the night. Komanisi is 32. He's the younger guy. He's got the least experience, but he's got the big punching power.
Isn't it amazing, though, that you say that you were involved in one of the epic fights, a local derby, that we had. Rodney Berman put it together. Golden Gloves put it together. Fire and Ice. Cassius Baloyi were in the corner. Nick Duran, the late, was in the corner of course, Philip Ndo. Now, people were making predictions. They were asking us leading up to the fight, who do you pick? Or if it's a knockout, it's going to be Philip Ndo. He was known as the time bomb. Yeah. If it's points, it's going to be Cassius Baloyi, Mr. Shy Guy, can box. That's exactly what you have in this fight now.
My man lost that night, unfortunately, the great Cassius Baloyi. But what a fight.
Exactly. So that's exactly what you have in this fight. Someone who is known that they can punch. So you're saying, if it's a knockout, it's going to be Komanisi. If it's points, it's going to be Munyai. This boxing refuses to work like that.
Like Baby Jake and Hawk Makapula.
Exactly.
Like Johnny Deploy and Pierre Kutz. So the list goes on of local domestic fights that need to happen. Okay, now we move to the main fight of the night. Let's talk about South Africa's Kevin Lerena, undefeated as an IBO cruiserweight champion. The guy is a workhorse. He put so much into it. Never had an amateur career, and he's done such a brilliant job as a professional. He fights Mariusz Wach from Poland, and they fight for that IBO Intercontinental Heavyweight title. And I must tell you that there is talk that Alexander Usyk, should he win, which I think he's going to win against Anthony Joshua on the 20th of August.
No, he won't win.
He won't win. Okay, we'll talk about that. That's great. That's why we have to talk about it. No. I think Usyk wins again. We'll talk about that too. But should Usyk win, he's giving up the IBO heavyweight title, which is great for Mariusz Wach and Kevin Lerena. So there's a good chance that the winner of Wach and Lerena will fight for the IBO heavyweight title.
Have you seen Mariusz Wach? Have you seen the size of the man?
Big man, 6'8". But Kevin took the last big man, Bogdan Dino, down.
So Kevin has walked into a territory now where he says size doesn't matter. You say it properly, you say size don't matter, but really for him now, that's where he's saying size doesn't matter. He's got the speed, he's got the skill. But maybe one thing that people have underestimated when it comes to Kevin Lerena, big heart. Big heart. He's got a big heart, and he's in a division where he's going to need lots and lots of guards. That's what he has in abundance. You know, forget the boxing skill and everything. He's got the heart to take the punches and to dish out the punishment.
And he's only had 2 heavyweight fights. You can call Patrick Ferguson kind of a catchweight heavyweight fight. He was testing the waters, Kevin Lerena. And then Bogdan Dino, also a big man at 6'7". And Kevin just mowed him down. And now he's fighting another big man. He's already rated number 25 in the world, rightly so, coming from being an undefeated cruiserweight champion, the same as Holyfield did, and the same as Alexander Usyk has done. So it can be done. You know, we said the same about Keaton Gomes.
Yep.
It can be done. If you look at Holyfield, if you look at Alexander Usyk's, I mean, other than Tyson Fury, Usyk's got all the heavyweight titles in the world. So this is a man that's come from cruiserweight and made it big in the heavyweight.
But it's the push now, because you know, you look at what Kevin is doing at training right now. I saw he put up a nice clip where he's lifting some heavy weights, you know, some deadlifts, heavy weights, putting in the work, preparing for a heavyweight fight, because now he has to make these heavyweights taste his punching power too. I spoke about his speed, but he's also fighting from a wrong position. You know what I mean?
Southpaw.
Yeah. You know,
those southpaws, I didn't like them either.
Exactly. You know, he's already awkward. So
Yeah.
he's putting in the work for the strength now. He already has the speed. The work that he's putting in doesn't take away the speed. He's developing punching power. But again, you'll see when he gets tested against Wach that he has a big heart. Just the willpower to be there, because you already know in your head, you know, at some stage, Golden Gloves did a tournament, lovely tournament. Dingan Tobela fought Glenn Catley. He had gone up in weight. I asked Dingan, what's the difference here? He says, the punches hit you different, you know, and if you don't have the big heart, you fold, you quit. Boxers like Kevin Lerena are now showing you that they are willing to take the risks. They've got the heart to take the risk, because there is no easy fight. You can't do it because the other guys are so much bigger than you. One punch hurts you so much. But these are types of boxers that South Africa has, who are prepared to take the gamble, take the risk, because it's not a foregone conclusion that Kevin is going to win.
Yeah.
It's not a foregone conclusion. If he wins, he has to win spectacularly, because he's chasing the bigger prize. He's got the heart for it.
Also, you know, what I see with Kevin Lerena as well, Phumlani, is that he was a very big cruiserweight. People don't realize that. They think he's short, but when you stand next to him, he's like 6'1", which is not short. Might be short next to Mariusz Wach at 6'8", but 6'1" is not short, and he's a muscular man. He's a big guy. So he told me he walked around at about 106 kilograms, cutting down to 91. That's very tough.
That's a lot.
That's a lot. Now he can be comfortable, like you say. He's picking up those big weights. He's a big, strong, powerful guy, and I think he's got it to in the heavyweight division. I think he can make it. He's got the speed, like you say. He's got the heart, and his 2 heavyweight fights he's won by knockout.
It's the home advantage then. You talk about home ground advantage. He's at the Palace of Dreams. That crowd, when Kevin gets going and they give him that energy, you know, to keep going. You saw with his last fight, crowd got into it. He's now also developed a crowd-pleasing style, and the crowd at Emperor's Palace simply loves it. The viewers also love that, because he's developed a crowd-pleasing style. Now, boxing is also entertainment, and he's gone straight into that.
So 17th of September at Empress Palace, lights out, Kevin Lerena against Mariusz Wach for that IBO Intercontinental Heavyweight title. Phumlani, who wins the fight?
Kevin Lerena.
Kevin Lerena all the way.
I can give you a prediction.
South Africa.
Yeah.
Hopefully South Africa wins the rugby too. So yes, Kevin Lerena, I think Kevin Lerena wins as well. I think he jumps on his man and chops him down. And we look forward to a fantastic tournament. Thank you for being our guest, Phumlani.
Thank you very much, Brian.
Lekker chatting to you. Obviously, we'll be commentating on the 17th as well. We'll be doing all those fights. So, yeah, look forward to it. From me, Brian Mitchell, thank you for watching this Golden Gloves Chat Show.
Brian used to train me at his gym in the south of Johannesburg with a man called Jimmy May. No, he never trained me. I was just in the gym doing something else.